This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
I'm with you, by the way. I talked about that this week on the show, that I want to see a respectable effort this week. I don't want to see a 56-3 loss where, again, kind of like what we saw the past week, where it's just a disaster of a performance. And to me, Joe, this is where I'm actually putting more of the heat on Flo and the coaches. He might, the other day he was talking about how his, their game plan is fine, and in practice they're not holding and they're not committing errors and all that. But the fact is, they're doing it during a game. And where I lay it on the coaches is, if it's only one side of the football that's screwing up, then okay, maybe it's just some lapse of concentration. But you're screwing up on defense, you're screwing up on offense, you're screwing up on special teams. And that's my problem, that I'm watching mistakes all the way around. And this is where I have to now lay it on the coaches, because something's going on why they're having that lapse of concentration.
Special teams is kind of flown under the radar. The Jakeem Grant trade was broken by NFL Network on Twitter seconds after Danny Crossman left the all coaches media availability. So we didn't have a chance to ask Danny Crossman about the trade. And we were so caught up with the other coaches, grilling George Godsey and Eric Stoodsville and John Pierre, that Danny's sitting over there by himself laughing like, yeah, nobody's coming over here asking me about Brennan Scarlett, And also, without an open locker room, Brennan Scarlett will likely never address the terrible penalty that he committed on fourth down, jumping off sides. In a locker room, you would talk to him after the game, or you would talk to him on Monday, or you would talk to him on Wednesday. We're probably not going to hear from Brennan Scarlett this week, because the Dolphins probably aren't going to bring him in there into the media workroom. So I'm hoping one day we get that locker room back open. But yeah, look, Danny Crossman got off to a good start. They had some trick plays. Everybody was excited. It has not been always great since that start. And certainly the first-year offensive line coach, John Pierre, he's going to be, scrutinized and watched closely, because the development has just not been there. You could say, well, maybe these offensive linemen aren't quite as good as Chris Greer and Brian Flores had hoped. But in my opinion, it's unlikely that they should be performing as poorly as they are as a group, because it's not just one guy. It's like all of them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And see, I was talking about this throughout the show, and I've posted on social media. So the coach decided that, let's see, I'm going to have a injury-prone quarterback be protected by an incredibly young line with 3 second-year players, 1 rookie, and a journeyman guy, coached by a line coach that has never produced a good line, led by an offensive coordinators that have never led an offense in the NFL. Yeah, I don't know where that seems like that's a recipe for success.
Well, I guess if you're
the lack of experience everywhere on offense, they can't lean on anybody for experience, for leadership, there's nothing proven there.
And that's why Mike Gesicki and Jesse Davis are trying so hard to be leaders, because Jalen Waddle is a rookie, and Devontae Parker, who's an excellent player who should be getting the ball more, is not a vocal guy. And, Austin Jackson is struggling terribly, and Liam Eichenberg is a rookie, and Myles Gaskin isn't getting snaps. And as far as like the Flores thing, he's been searching for what he wants his offense to be since he became a head coach. Is it supposed to be the Patriots offense with Chad O'Shea? Is it supposed to be the Bills Jets offense with Chan Gailey? Everyone thought that, Chan Gailey was in over his head. And, maybe he wasn't as much in over his head as some folks thought.
Yeah, no, of course not. I wasn't one of the guys picking on Chan. I'm a Chan fan. I was a Chan fan from the first go around, that I thought he did a marvelous job with what he was actually handed, the first go around, which, that was actually some really good work.
If Chan came back, maybe it would have been, less boring. It was kind of boring by design last year when Tua was in there. It was completely designed around limiting the chance for injury.
Yeah, and his lack of knowledge.
Yeah,
also,
and the simplified playbook, absolutely.
Yeah.
So maybe it would have been better this year. Maybe the second time you have the same offensive coordinator for 2 years in a row, maybe that would actually be helpful. But here we are on Brian Flores' third year, and it'd be hard to suggest, oh yeah, stud God is going to be the offensive coordinator combination in next year.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.